Hello, everybody. I hope y'all are doing well today. Just getting Earthquake 3D set up and watching earthquakes today. As we can see, the last earthquake was a 2.1 San Francisco Bay Area, California. I'm just looking at Spain region. It looks like Canary Islands is quaking again. So keeping an eye on things that are going on in the world. Just thought I would put this up since I am paying attention to it today. Thought I'd put it up so that if anybody wanted to check in on earthquakes that they can. All right, let me check something, make sure my sound settings are good for you guys. And looked like my stuff is low, which is not what I wanted. So hopefully you can hear me now. I'm going to leave this up and let it stream for a while. I think some of my mods on the other side of the planet are probably still sleeping. And yeah, today's just a lazy Saturday. Okay, hi everybody. As you can see, I've got my camera set up now. Um, don't know if it's working right though. Trying to pay attention to it. Okay, looks like it's pointed up in the air. Let me see if I can fix this a little better. Well, y'all can see I've got my TV over there. And the other screen that I'm working on is to this side. So if I'm not looking at the cameras because I'm looking the opposite direction. Okay, so I wanted to actually go over stuff that's going on today. There has just been a 2.1 in Western Texas as well. So we can see that on EMSC. Let's go over some news because 3IA Atlas is some interesting news, and it's showing a bizarre protrusion as it closes in on Earth. As the interstellar comet 3IA Atlas races towards its closest pass by our planet, astronomers are fixated on a particular feature jutting from its bright core. Hang on a second, I want to do one more thing. This, I think, to include you guys in on the stream here. That way I can look and see what's going on chat-wise. Okay, so let me put this down here. There. So anybody that chats, I'll be able to see your chats. There. So we have that in the corner now. Just trying to figure out what side of the screen to actually put that on. But we can see the earthquakes here. Let me see here. Maybe if I make this a little smaller, then I can see them better there. And then we can see the earthquake data at the same time. Okay, so got that set up. All right, so now we have chats on screen. We have Earthquake 3D, and we have information. Okay, so let me go back to what I was talking to you guys about. We have the interstellar comet 3IA Atlas is racing towards the closest pass by our planet right now. Astronomers are fixated on a particular feature jutting from its bright core. The object's strange jet-like extension is challenging assumptions as to how comets behave when they plunge through a new star system at high speed. For scientists and for anyone watching the sky this week, 3IA Atlas is turning into a rare live experiment in how alien ice and dust respond to the sun. Instead of presenting a neat, symmetric tail, the visitor from the deep space is flaunting a lopsided protrusion that appears to point back at the sun, which is not normal. A configuration that has already sparked debate over whether it's a natural outflow or something more exotic. There is an extension between mundane physics and extraordinary possibility as the real story behind the icy wanderer's brief encounter with the Earth. 3IA Atlas is not just another fuzzy smudge in a backyard telescope. It is only the third known object on a trajectory that proves it came from beyond our solar system. The designation links it to the asteroid terrestrial impact last alert system that first spotted it and marks it as a successor to the earlier interstellar visitors, and that was Oumuamua and 2I Borisov. 1I was Oumuamua. A lineage that is spelled out in details for 3IA Atlas. The context matters because each of these rare arrivals offers a different snapshot of material forged around other stars, then flung into the void until gravity nudged it into our neighborhood. Unlike the enigmatic cigar-shaped Oumuamua, which never spouted a visible tail, 3IA Atlas behaves more like a classic comet, with gas and dust boiling off it as it nears the sun. Hello, Titifax. Welcome to chat. Um, Observations of its speed and path show is not bound to the sun at all. Instead, it's on a hyperbolic course that will carry it through the inner solar system and then back into interstellar space. A conclusion that astronomers drew from careful tracking of observation of its motion. The unbound orbit is the smoking gun that 3IA Atlas was born under another star, making its current performance a rare chance to watch truly foreign ice respond to our sun. For all the drama of its appearance, 3IA Atlas is not a threat to the planet, and its closest approach will keep it far beyond the orbit of the moon. Projections show the comet will pass at a distance of about 170 meters, 170 million miles from Earth. Sorry. A span that is roughly twice the gap between the Earth and the Sun, and that has been highlighted in coverage of how close 3IA Atlas will come. That distance is close enough for powerful telescopes to dissect its structure in detail, but comfortably far enough away for anyone to be worried about impacts. Even at that, the comet's flyby is a major event for planetary scientists and skywatchers, because interstellar visitors are so rare that each effectively becomes a once-in-a-generation laboratory. NASA and other observatories have been tracking where 3IA Atlas is now as it moves through the solar system, with public tools that let people follow its progress in real time and see how its brightness changes as it swings past Earth. The most arresting feature of 3IA Atlas is that the odd extension jutting from its coma, a bright, narrow structure that looks more like a jet or a spike than a classic tail. Astronomers first flagged this anomaly as they watched the object accelerate towards Earth, describing a strange protrusion on the sun-facing side that did not match the usual picture of dust streaming directly away from the sun due to a radiation pressure. A puzzle that has been central to reports that astronomers spot strange protrusions. Instead, a simple fan of material pushed back like smoke in the wind, the comet appears to be venting in a more focused, symmetric way. As more telescopes have turned towards 3IA Atlas, the protrusion has itself revealed as even more dynamic than early images suggested. Astronomers now describe a wobbling, high-latitude jet that seems to shift position over time, a behavior that points to complex rotation and possibly layered structure inside the nucleus, a pattern that has been highlighted in live coverage of how astronomers detect the jet. Instead of a steady, straight plume, the feature appears to sway, as if the comet were in a spinning sprinkler throwing out arcs of gas and dust. That motion matters because it can subtly alter the comet's path, adding tiny non-gravitational nudges as the jet acts like a thruster. Scientists tracking 3IA Atlas as it nears Earth have already had to account for such forces to keep their trajectory models accurate, a process that has been central to its efforts to explain why scientists say it is an interstellar comet and how it will head back into interstellar space after a flyby. As described in detailed breakdowns of why scientists say it behaves the way it does. One of the most indulging aspects of the protrusion is that it appears to form an antitail, a structure that seems to point towards the sun rather than away from it. In many comets, such antitails can arise naturally when larger dust grains lag behind it in a comet orbital plane. Why did Nightbot remove those comments? You know what? I think I'm going to turn off Nightbot because Nightbot's being mean. Titifax says, "Oh, thank you, my love. Love this info. I need help. Don't trust the regular media." I don't either. Okay. Sorry, my Nightbot is rogue right now. I guess because there are no regular mods in the chat, and I'm not sure why Nightbot's being rude. But don't worry about it. Didapack says, "Hey Nightbot, I remember you from yesterday." Okay, so anyways, that is what I've got about 3IA Atlas. Now, I do know that they were saying that 3IA, and I talked about it a little bit on the live stream last night, and 3IA Atlas apparently shot, I'm going to look it up because I had done some research on it a little bit, but 3IA Atlas apparently gave everybody radiation. So I'm looking up some more information. Now, they found, so you guys know, apparently they have found, James Webb Space Telescope has found strongest evidence yet that a small rocky planet outside our solar system has air. So, I'm finding some interesting stuff here lately. James Webb Telescope has found the strongest evidence yet that a small rocky planet outside our solar system has air, even though it orbits precariously close to its star. The exoplanet called TOI 561b is less than 1.5 times as wide as Earth and circles its star in less than 11 hours. Less than 1 million miles away from it in space. One side always faces the star. Having a permanent daylight likely causes the hemisphere to get hot enough to melt rock, bathing the world in a hellish lava ocean. But what's got the scientists surprised is the alien planet lightness. What really sets this planet apart is its anomaly low dense is anomalously, I can't say that word, low density. It's not a super puff, but it's less dense than you would expect if it had Earth-like composition. If TOI 561b has an atmosphere, it would mean every rocky exoplanet exposed to the hardest conditions can have air, providing new insights for scientists on the hunt for habitable worlds elsewhere in the galaxy. At first, the team wondered whether TOI 561b, a world 280 light years away, formed with unusual materials. The exoplanet's host is a G-type star like the Sun, and only slightly smaller, but it's very odd with relatively little iron. That may mean the planet has similar chemistry to that of worlds born early in the universe, but that alone could not explain the measurements. So, that is an interesting article that is coming out about this planet, TOI 561b. So I'm finding it strange. I have seen so much information on what happened with these, the telescopes being burned, but I'm not finding any information. So it's one of those things that they're not telling people about. Check my camera. Okay. It's one of those things that they're not telling people about, but I was watching some science channels and had heard some of the facts that the telescopes were burned and had to be shut down based on the fact that it sent out a type of flare. me see here. See, it blasted a jet towards the sun also on October 24th, 2025. So I'm looking for information on it. And it was something that I had been seeing, so I'm trying to figure out if that is exactly what occurred. And they are saying right now it's heading for the outer solar system. So it is not coming towards Earth, and I don't think anybody needs to worry about it. It's heading towards the outer solar system. Okay, so that's what I got for that. It's also emitting a radio signal, so interesting stuff going on. I don't know how a rock emits a radio signal. And we're also having snowstorms right now. 3 feet of snow is expected to strike. Winter storm warnings have been issued for multiple states with potentially hazardous conditions ahead of some areas. According to the National Weather Service, heavy winter storms are forecasted to deliver up to 3 feet of snow through Saturday night and into Sunday. A record-breaking number of people are set to hit the road for the holiday season, and winter storms could spell trouble for 122.4 million Americans, projected by the AAA to travel. This weekend is projected to be especially crowded as people head home for the holidays. The NWS issues winter storm warnings when a significant combination of hazardous winter weather is occurring or imminent. The most severe weather is expected in Washington, Oregon, and Wyoming, where storm warnings are in place. The Washington Cascades could see 1 to 3 feet of snow, while Wyoming's mountain ranges and Yellowstone National Park are forecast to pick up to 4 to 12 inches of snow. There will also be very strong winds in the areas up to 70 miles per hour. Beyond the areas where snowstorm warnings have been issued, there are winter weather advisories in place across the Rocky Mountains, Northern Plains, Great Lakes region, Pacific Northwest, Utah, Montana, Idaho, and Alaska. In Colorado, there is 2 to 8 inches of snowfall expected and higher amounts in the northern ranges. Similarly, conditions are expected in the mountains of Montana, Idaho, and Utah. Snow will also impact the Great Lakes region, with 3 to 7 inches possible in Michigan and Minnesota. In North Dakota, strong winds are expected, which will see the spreading of existing snow and reduction in visibility. In Alaska, there will be strong winds and light snowfall, which could cause visibility to drop as low as a quarter mile in the Arctic and coastal regions. The NWS is urging drivers to slow down and for unnecessary travel to be avoided, particularly in the mountains and open areas. In its winter storm warning, the NWS said that persons should consider delaying all travel. If travel is absolutely necessary, drive with extreme caution. Consider taking a winter storm kit along with you, including such items as tire chains, booster cables, flashlights, shovel, blankets, and extra clothing. Also take water, a first aid kit, and anything else that would help you survive in case you become stranded. I would say also food. People can monitor forecasts from their local weather offices for updates. Authorities in all impacted states recommend emergency preparedness for residents and caution that conditions can change rapidly. Now, going back to where it says to take anything that could help you to survive, Walmart has these emergency blankets. They cost $1.25. They are worth having. If you have these emergency blankets, you wrap yourself up in them. They help you to keep the heat in so that if you are stranded, I mean, it's great to have blankets, right? But how many times have we used blankets and we're still cold? These emergency blankets, you put them on first and then wrap yourself with a blanket. And they help to project your heat back into you. So those are worth having. Okay. Welcome to everybody who's in the chat. I see one person in the chat, but I see some people watching. Y'all are welcome to chat on the live stream. Just be polite. That is the only thing that I ask of anybody who is chatting in the chat room. That's because my moderator is not here right now and my Nightbot is a nut. All right. So they're saying that a day ago that the sun may have sparked a cannibal CME towards Earth. I'm not worrying too much about that at the minute. I will be seeing more information. Oh, thank you. Tatek says you're making everything make sense. Love the narrations, detail, and globe is awesome. Yes, even Nightbot. Love the supplies info too, Rebecca. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let me give you a like and a heart. So I want to look into something else. There were fires going on in Colorado. And they are still going on. The Colorado wildfire has spread to 40,000 acres. So it's pretty big at this time. The wildfire that ignited in northeastern Colorado earlier this week has spread to 40,000 acres, with a few other fires igniting elsewhere across the state as extreme wind heighten the risk of rapid fire spread. An extreme wildfire threat is currently being felt across much of the state, with some wind gusts exceeding 100 miles per hour. To make matters worse, relative humidity has plummeted to a single digits in some cases, creating a dry environment ideal for rapid fire spread. Although extremely strong wind gusts are not uncommon in Colorado in December, National Weather Service warning coordination meteorologist Greg Heavner told that snow typically blankets the dry grasses and finer fuels that feed a wildfire at this point in the year. However, Boulder has been unusually dry. A single snowfall event has occurred in the region and the snow has long since melted. NWS Boulder has issued red flag warnings alerting people to fire risk, and the office even issued a first of its kind particularly dangerous situation to highlight the wildfire threat. Although no fires have been reported in Boulder as of late Friday morning, one fire ignited in Yuma County earlier this week. By Thursday morning, the flames had spread to 40,000 acres. That's fast. Coming out from COAA News 5, they posted a video. Let's see if I can show this to you guys. They posted a video on their thing, which shows the fire here. And this is on X. This is the one that is in Yuma that is estimated at 40,000 acres. That's huge. Let me get my stuff back on here. Uh-oh, what did I miss? I'm missing something. Oh, yeah, my chat. Duh. Where'd my chat go? There. Okay. Fixed it. Okay, so, 9 fires are burning across rural Yuma. Why is that not staying up there? Okay, hang on. Okay. 9 fires are burning across rural Yuma County, Colorado. And winds are at 50 to 60 miles per hour. Farmers are being asked to bring tractors and discs to cut fire lines. No formal evacuations. Appears very fluid, and emergency managers are telling people to evacuate for nearest town if fire approaches. Titak says, oh my gosh, I used to live near Yuma in the Cali side. Never seen or heard of fires that far down. Yeah, this is kind of different. It's not abnormal, but it's not one of those things that happens all the time. Live tracker maps from windy.com reveal the extreme wildfire risk across the state of Colorado, with peak wind gusts being felt in central and northern Colorado. The region has experienced a drier start to winter than is typical, with Hefner saying that Boulder has only seen one snowfall event so far this season, in which the snow has already melted. Denver saw one of the latest first snows ever, and ski resorts across the state are facing a snow drought. Usually at this point in the year, snow covers the dry fuels that wildfires feed on, but currently that isn't the case. Parts of Colorado also face a high risk of fire spread, according to windy.com, as well as pockets of intense drought. The worst threat will persist through Friday during the mid-afternoon hours. Red flag warnings will remain in place until midnight, and high wind warnings are also in effect. People are in the impacted areas are urged to monitor local weather reports. So let me see if I can find anything newer. They have not updated the news for today. However, they are at 40K acres, and all the other fires are contained. They did have hurricane force winds that downed power lines and fanned wildfires across Colorado. Okay, so let me see here. I want to check on Oregon. Oregon and flooding and see what's going on there. All right, so rain battered Oregon and southwest Washington. 3 hours ago, flood watch has been issued in western Oregon, with more rain expected Saturday, which is today. The Portland area and much of western Oregon is under a flood watch Saturday morning as local waterways continue to swell, with the record rainfall that hit the region this week. The flood watch issued by the National Weather Service on Saturday morning will remain in effect through 4 p.m. So that would be 4 p.m. on the West Coast. I am on the East Coast, so it's 3 o'clock here, so they have at least another 3 hours. Saturday, in that time, creeks and streams may rise above their banks. The Weather Service warned, and flooding may occur in urban areas and places with poor drainage. More rain is expected in the Portland area Saturday, with an 80% chance of rain mainly before noon, according to the National Weather Service. The high temperature is expected to hit 47 degrees. Those conditions are expected to last through the weekend as the region remains locked into cooler, showery, and unsettled air mass. The atmospheric river that has been swamping the Pacific Northwest has already resulted in closed roads, shuttered parks, and has left thousands without power. With more flooding expected Saturday, weather officials are cautioning those in flood-prone areas to be prepared for rising waters. There is flooding danger persisting, of course, in the Pacific Northwest. A flood watch is in effect for greater Portland area and large portions of western Oregon and southwestern Washington as rainy conditions continue. The National Weather Service issued a flood watch on Saturday morning, which is in effect until 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The following a week of heavy rainfall. Local flooding is likeliest in urban areas and in locations with relatively little water damage. Okay, water drainage. And the day's forecast calls for an 80% chance of rainfall during the morning hours. Hang on a second. The Sandy and Clackamas rivers are especially vulnerable to flooding, and at least one person has died as many roads in western Oregon became covered by landslides and other weather-related damage. The Clackamas River, in the last 24 hours, they've been seeing 3 to 4 inches of rain, and in some cases even higher amounts southeast of Estacada. The amounts are certainly contributing to the rapid rise of water. Despite the continuing rainy weather, most local evacuation orders were lifted on Friday in areas along and near the Clackamas River. The river set a new record when it crested at 26.25 feet during the early morning hours on Friday. The prior record was 25.52. The prior record was 25.52 feet in 1972. So that has been almost, almost 50 years. Over 50 years. 72. I'm 56. So it would be about 50 years. The rainy weather likely will continue through Sunday as a cool and moist air mass covers most of the region. Hundreds of local residents have evacuated the area and some floodwaters have stretched to recede, but many bodies of water will remain higher than normal into Sunday. Some, though, took advantage of the rare whitewater kayaking opportunities. So it sounds like they made the best of it. Many traveled to Gladstone's High Rock Park, where local waters were flowing at a very high rate on Friday and could continue doing so through the weekend. So looks like some people are taking advantage of the waters for whitewater rafting. Welcome to the channel. Feel free to talk in the chat room. Let me move this up. Okay, so Titax says, how close is that to El Centro? I have a friend who lives there. I am not sure. I could pull up Google Earth and look. But I have no idea. Let me see here. Let me pull up Google Earth. Where is El Centro? El Centro, California. Hey, Auntie A, hope you're doing well. El Centro is all the way down here, so I don't think that that's that close. The area that seems to be having the that's having the most problems is across through here. So El Centro is over in this area. No probs. I will look. Aw, thank you so much. You're going to love where it is super mysterious. Yes, I am. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. Okay, so okay, so 3 hours ago, we're taking a look at what is going on. The new webcam on the Big Island, Kilauea, has been replaced. So scientists on Friday deployed a new webcam on the rim of Kilauea volcano summit crater, replacing the webcam destroyed by the dramatic lava fountain earlier this month. The new V3 cam has been installed on the south rim of Halemaumau crater. How do you say that? Halemaumau crater within a closed area of Hawaii's Volcanoes National Park and is already live streaming via YouTube. The new V3 cam is to the east of the location where the previous V3 cam was knocked offline during episode 38 on December 6, 2025. I heard that it was buried at up to 50 feet, which is crazy. The USGS Hawaiian Volcano Observatory says the new camera is a pan-tilt zoom model and the view may change depending on activity. The ongoing eruption at the summit of Kilauea is paused, with the next episode, episode 39, likely to occur between December 22nd and 27th. The USGS volcano alert level for Kilauea remains at watch. The ongoing eruption is nearing its 1-year anniversary. The eruption began on December 23rd, 2024. So that's cool. They got a camera back there now. So guess what? Let me see this real quick. I'm not sure if this is the new one or the old one. However, there is a new article up says that an undersea volcano has exploded in a rare footage from the Pacific Ocean. A shark dive in the Solomon Islands takes an explosive turn as Kavichi, one of the most active submarine volcanoes on Earth, blew its guts. So, deep in the South Pacific Ocean near the remote Solomon Islands, there's a volcano unlike any other on Earth. For one, it's underwater, and secondly, it's extremely active. Kavichi, it's called. Let's look up Kavichi. Kavichi volcano. Kavichi. Kavachi? Make sure I spelled that right. It's got an A. Kavachi. So it's Kavachi. It's in the Solomon Islands. So see if we can find it. This is Kavachi that they're talking about right here. Okay. Deep in the South Pacific Ocean near the remote Solomon Islands, there's a volcano unlike any other on Earth. For one, it's underwater, and second, it's extremely active. Kavachi, it's called. And recently, during what was supposed to be a shark dive, wildlife photographers got a rare glimpse at the volcano, spewing, erupting from the depths, sending bomb-like detonations to the sea surface. Devin Masson, A wildlife filmmaker was on the dive to the Solomon Islands in search of capturing sharks. However, when Kavachi went kaboom, he turned his lens to the submarine volcano. And he said, "We made an expedition to an extremely remote region of the Solomon Islands to film sharks around one of the most active submarine volcanoes on Earth. Because of its isolation, no one had been there in over 2 years. So we had no idea what we would find or if the volcano was even active at the surface." He said, "You're quickly reminded of the intense power of Earth here. Even while scuba diving more than 50 miles away, we could hear an ominous underwater explosions. Concussive blasts traveling through the ocean and vibrating through your entire body, sending sharks into erratic behavior." That is wild. As Masson mentioned, Kavachi isn't a frequently visited site, and it's not just due to the danger of massive underwater explosions. It's also because it's so remote. During his visit, Masson explained that he and his crew had to carry extra drums of oil with them on the boat just to get there, adding, "Once we committed, there was no easy way out." Kavachi is one of the most active submarine volcanoes in the Pacific. This conical seamount, located in the Solomon Islands and named after the sea god of the Gutake and Vanguni people, rises some 1,200 meters or 3,900 feet from the seafloor, but its summit remains just 20 meters or 65 feet below sea level, which makes it easier for satellites to detect discolorations of the water due to volcanic activity than at deeper undersea volcanoes. Wild. The other nickname for this volcano is Sharkcano. Okay, so coming from Billings Gazette, which is in Montana, let me see. They're saying that the steaming geysers and fumaroles are a chemical mystery, and they're wanting to know where all the sulfur dioxide went. However, I'm not going to buy the site, so that is something I will be looking into. All right, so a new swarm of quakes has struck San Ramon, with the biggest recorded as a 4.0, and this was posted 15 hours ago. And I need to... Okay, the tremors appear to be part of a historic earthquake swarm, as San Ramon residents have been rattled by dozens of them for months now. The 2025 swarm counts among the largest to the last 50 years, with notable swarms happening in 1976 and 2015. Huh, Auntie A says, "You win. I was 65 yesterday. Cool, happy birthday." Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Auntie A. Happy birthday to you. Okay, so let's see here. Trying to figure this out. If y'all give me just a minute. Go to Volcano Discovery here. Volcano Discovery says the European Mediterranean Seismological Center reported a magnitude 3.8 quake in the United States near San Ramon, Contra Costa County, California. The earthquake hit early evening on Friday, December 19th at 2025 at 7:56 p.m. local time at a very shallow depth of 6.2 miles. The exact magnitude, epicenter, and depth of the quake might be revised within the next few hours or minutes, as seismologists review data and refine their calculations, or as other agencies issue their reports. Based on the preliminary seismic data, the quake should not have caused any significant damage, was probably felt by many people as light vibration. So they're saying that there is a swarm going on in this area. So this was coming 10 hours ago. A swarm of earthquakes rattled the Bay Area on the evening of Friday, December 19th. The earthquakes occurred at over a 30-minute span, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. There have been no reports of damage or casualties, and no tsunami warnings have been issued as of reporting. In recent weeks, the East Bay Area has been rattled by multiple earthquakes. Over 150 earthquakes. Need a drink. TikTok says, I turn wiser on the 18th. Oh my gosh, you have two Sagittariuses here, Miss Rebecca. Hashtag good trouble. Yay. Hello, George. How are you doing? I will look that up in a minute. He says, where is that fire at in California? Hello, Richard. How are you doing? Okay, so in recent weeks, over 150 earthquakes have affected the area near San Ramon in November, and that was last month, according to a report from public radio station KQED. Then on December 8th, 10th, earthquakes hit the area. These earthquakes had a preliminary magnitude of 2.5 or above. Earthquakes can be a regular occurrence in California, and these range from minor tremors, which go unnoticed, to major natural disasters. Aftershocks are often a possibility when an earthquake occurs. There are more than 7 million people in the wider Bay Area. Earthquake risks have serious implications for disaster preparedness, public safety, and infrastructure resilience. The first quake struck at 7:49 p.m. and had a preliminary magnitude of 3.8. The epicenter was nearly 3 miles southeast of San Ramon. Then minutes later, an earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 4.0 struck near San Ramon. The earthquakes that followed had smaller preliminary magnitudes, and the latest struck at 8:10 p.m. The earthquake had a preliminary magnitude of 2.9. People generally report feeling earthquakes that have a magnitude larger than about 2.5. Earthquakes result from an abrupt release of energy along fault lines. These in turn cause the ground to shake, with seismic waves radiating away from the earthquake's epicenter. Modern earthquakes can knock objects off shelves and cause concern, but they may not cause any visible damage. Regardless, each event is a reminder to residents to review their emergency plans and supplies. The USGS estimates a 5% chance of larger earthquake following a moderate one within a 3-day period. So if there is a moderate earthquake, then you can expect a larger earthquake according to USGS. So it looks as though they are forecasting. The United States Geological Survey said in a post on its website addressing why there are so many earthquakes in Northern California. The Geysers geothermal field is located in a tectonically active region of Northern California. The major seismic hazards in the area are from large earthquakes occurring along regional faults that are located miles away from the geothermal field, such as the San Andreas and Healdsburg-Roger Creek faults. However, activities associated with the withdrawal of steam for producing electric power cause or induce small quakes to occur in the field. These smaller quakes are frequently felt by those who work in the field and by nearby residents. The USGS and other seismological agencies continue to monitor seismic activity following the series of earthquakes. So, That is what was going on yesterday when they had earthquakes going on in California. Let me show you this. So we'll go here, and I'm going to show you yesterday's earthquakes in California. Actually, we'll show you through till today. So as we scroll back here, we can see all the earthquakes going on. They had 3.9, 3.6. This was on the 20th. So all these earthquakes, these started on the 19th. So these are the 19th. You can see where there was a 3.9 in the Gulf of California. Expect to see activity in California. These were from the 19th. And we're looking through this. This is the 3.9 there. 3.6 San Francisco Bay Area. 3.9 San Francisco Bay Area. 2.8 and 2.9. So not seeing anything bigger. There's a 3.3 Central California there. Let's go back to the 18th. Like going backwards. So this is the 18th. There was a 3.6 here in Central California there. So it has been very busy in California in the last few days. Okay, let's put this back up. All right, so get that back up there. Let's see what's going on in chat real quick. Okay, George Mitchell says, oh, I live in the foothills off of 12 East. Titak says, Scotland. I am in Chicago right now. Left Cali after completing my degree. Okay, so let me look up the fire that was being asked about in California. See if there's anything going on. 7 hours ago. Let me see here. 6 hours ago, a new wildfire was reported in Los Angeles County on December 20th. It was first discovered at 5:21 a.m. December 20th. The initial location is Los Angeles County, California. The fire name is LAC 442306. A new wildfire was reported today at 5:21 a.m. in Los Angeles County, California. The wildfire has been burning on private land. There is currently no information about the containment effort for the fire, and its cause has not yet been determined. So that's the information I have for you regarding that fire. There's also been a prescribed fire in Pumas County, which was on the 19th. Let me see. The initial location was Pumas County. It started at 7:56 a.m. December 19th. It was a prescribed burn called BK Penman IRTC. Was initiated yesterday morning at 7:56 a.m. in Plumas County, California. The prescribed fire has been burning on federal land managed by the United States Forest Service. Currently, there is no specifics on the extent of land burned or the size of the crew involved in executing the prescribed fire. A prescribed fire, which is a prescribed burn, is a wildfire prevention method that involves burning an area of land in a controlled manner to minimize the risk of catastrophic wildfires. And that source is coming from National Interagency Fire Center. So that is a prescribed fire that is going on. Also, I don't know if y'all have heard about this. LA is shutting down a vital reservoir again 1 year after devastating wildfires. It's a case of deja vu. that has many Southern Californians seeing red. Nearly 1 year after a hellish wildfire incinerated thousands of homes and left a dozen people dead, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power is preparing to pull the plug on one of the neighborhood's most critical water sources again. The Santa Ynez Reservoir, which was notoriously offline when the January Palisades fire exploded into a 23,000-acre monster, could go offline again as early as next month for further repairs, according to a recent release from the LA DWP. The reservoir is expected to be drained and taken offline for an estimated 9 months. That would be horrible because, that 9 months, during that 9 months is fire season. For residents who watched their neighborhood turn into a tinderbox while fire hydrants sputtered and ran dry last winter, the timing couldn't be worse. The LADWP insists that contingency measures are in place, and they are working with LA Fire Department to ensure redundant water supplies are available. But the optics are a public relations disaster since the Santa Ana winds ramped up in January. It's tone deaf to say the least. On the eve of one of the most destructive fires in our country's history, a resident who lost his home in the Palisades stated, "To take down the reservoir again for another 9 months under these circumstances makes no sense." The January 2025 disaster was the third most destructive in California history. The blaze, fueled by 80-mile-per-hour Santa Ana winds and record-setting droughts, destroyed over 6,800 structures and claimed 12 lives. At the height of the chaos, firefighters found themselves holding empty hoses. The Santa Ynez Reservoir, the area's primary backstop, had been taken offline earlier to fix a tear in the floating cover that protects it from pollutants. What was thought to be a minor repair turned into a major scandal. Lawsuits followed, and even Governor Gavin Newsom was forced to launch an investigation into why the city let a 117 million gallon safety net sit empty during peak fire season. While officials patched the reservoir and trumpeted its return to service in past June, the victory lap was short-lived. LADWP now says the reservoir needs more work, having placed an order for a new floating cover to provide stronger resilience, protect water quality, and ensure continued compliance with drinking water standards and regulations. The repair to cover is meant to be a long-term, if not permanent fix, city officials stated. Meanwhile, the officials have repeatedly maintained that the system is designed to provide clean drinking water, not combat wildfires. As the calendar flips to 2026, water time. And the hot, dry winds return, whatever residents are left in the Pacific Palisades aren't just going to be looking at the horizon for smoke. They're looking at their city's water department and wondering if they're about to be left out to dry once more. The Santa Ynez Reservoir will stay in service until the new cover is ready. Community outreach has been conducted, contingency measures are secured, and contractor is ready, according to the LADWP. I don't know, I think I'd be nervous if I was in this area. So if y'all hadn't heard that yet, they're about to empty the reservoir once again for 9 months. Okay, let me see what else I've got, you guys. The U.S. is going to pay $450,000 to wildfire fighters with cancer. They will be eligible for a one-time payment as well as college. And if anybody was looking at a wildfire that was in Fort Collins, That fire has been extinguished. Also in Colorado, the stations were left operating at backup systems after a planned power shutoff by Xcel Energy, but they're still responding as usual despite working in the dark. 6 West Metro fire rescue stations were left operating in the dark after public safety power shutoffs this week. And they shut it off because they wanted to avoid fires, leaving crews to rely on backup generators and flashlights while remaining on high alert for potential new fire starts amid fierce winds. Good morning, Brookfishin. The outages were part of Xcel Energy's decision to preemptively shut off electricity during periods of heightened wildfire risk. Despite the lack of power, firefighters continued responding to emergency calls, including West Metro's Fire Station 9, where crews worked shrouded in darkness. We've been trying to make the best of it, said Lieutenant Rhett Blackmer. We have a natural gas generator that kicks in automatically. That's something we do weekly checks on to make sure it's good functioning order. And that kicks in immediately to power all our essential systems. On Friday evening, Xcel issued a release stating that extreme fire weather conditions are expected to persist, potentially into early Saturday morning. Even when high winds subside, they say power won't be restored immediately. Instead, Xcel says restoration times will be affected by extent of damage to the system. We haven't had moisture in the area for quite some time, so fuels are dry, and then we have higher than normal atmospheric temperatures, which make fires more likely to sustain themselves and spread. And then the biggest component is the wind. It was traditionally kind of a July, August, maybe September thing to fight wildfires in the district. The crew has had to be creative going about their day-to-day activities. One half of the kitchen inside the fire station is wired to the generator, so not everything is functional. The coffee maker and oven were allowing them to cook rather than leave the station for meals. It's a lot like camping. When you wake up in the night, you've got to have your flashlight on so you can get to where you're going. We have heaters that keep bays at the operational temperatures for the rigs so that our pipes aren't frozen when we go to put out fires. And then radio systems so we can communicate with dispatch and each other. So late Friday night, West Metro Fire confirmed that at least one of its affected stations had its power restored. So the rest of them, the rest 5 are in the dark. All right, so let's check the chat. George says, Rebecca, I saw that there will be no mail for the 24th of the month. That is because the president made it a new federal holiday. Yes, and any of us were needing to go to the bank on the 24th, or let me see, the 26th. Yeah, can't go to the bank on those days. Everything is going to be closed down from the 24th, 25th, and 26th. And as you know, on Sunday, so it'll be closed that day too. Hello, Fuzzy Falcon. Welcome to the chat. Nice to see you here. Okay, so there was a fire north of Hutchinson in Rideau County. And let's see where this is. It was in Kansas. The Hutchins Fire Department confirmed that an evacuation had been lifted for North Plum area following a wildfire that burned about 500 acres. All residents can return home, Hutchinson Fire Department summarized. The fire department advised drivers to slow down in the area for visibility and safety of the firefighters. The Hutchinson Fire Department reflected on past experiences in its effort to contain the fire and spare homes and lives. Specifically, the fire department looked back at the devastating fire that heavily impacted Hutchinson in 2017. So this article came out on the 18th. So this fire has been put out. And this is in Kansas. There was also a fire in South Dakota yesterday. It erupted outside of Blackhawk, Rapid City, South Dakota. A small wildfire started outside of Blackhawk Friday morning. Around 6:30 a.m., the Blackhawk Fire Department responded to a call of a wildfire in Valley View Drive behind Reno Casino in Blackhawk. Residents from nearly 3 buildings were evacuated as a precaution, but no structures were damaged. Crews quickly responded to a half-acre fire and it was fully extinguished by 8 a.m. And South Dakota Wildland Fire is investigating the cause of the fire. So that's what I've got for you for wildfire news. Let's see what we have, if there's any more for storms. Powerful Pineapple Express Christmas storm threatens Southern California. So, a massive Pineapple Express atmospheric river is set to hit Southern California, bringing heavy rain and potential flooding through Christmas Day. Forecasters warn of significant delays. Forecasters warn of significant delays at LAX and hazardous driving conditions on the 5 and 101 freeways as the storm peaks during the holiday rush. While the storm is confirmed, the precise window of the heaviest rainfall in specific neighborhoods is still being monitored by the National Weather Service. According to the National Weather Service, the storm will bring several inches of rain to the region starting Tuesday, December 23rd, and continuing through Christmas Day. Coastal and valley areas are expected to receive 2 to 4 inches of rain, while the foothills and mountains could see double those amounts. In downtown Los Angeles, there is an 80% chance of receiving 2 or more inches of rain. The last time that occurred over Christmas holiday was in 1971. The storm is expected to arrive in phases, with conditions deteriorating as the holiday approaches. Saturday, December 20th through Monday, December 22nd, the primary moisture plume focuses on Northern California and the Bay Area before sagging south. Tuesday, December 23rd, light showers may begin in coastal Southern California, with rain intensifying, increasing Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Wednesday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, the peak of the storm is expected, bringing drenching downpours and a highest risk of urban flooding. Thursday, December 25, which is Christmas Day, additional lighter showers are expected to continue through the day as the system moves through the area. This storm coincides with one of the busiest travel periods of the year. AAA estimates that over 10 million people will be traveling through Southern California during the holiday period, a 2% increase from last year. Heavy rainfall increases the risk of road accidents, power outages, and airport delays. Low-lying areas and recently burned regions susceptible to mudslides face highest flood threats. Officials and meteorologists are urging the public to prepare for Wild Weather Week. Anyone with holiday travel plans by road and by air should keep an eye on the forecast and adjust accordingly. That's the National Weather Service advising in an online forecast. Alex Sosnowski, AccuWeather senior meteorologist, noted that drenching downpours and urban flooding problems are predicted to occur in Los Angeles and San Diego metro areas from Wednesday, December 24th to Friday, December 26th, which may spoil some outdoor Christmas-related activities. The National Weather Service in Los Angeles added a simple directive for residents: start to mentally prepare for a wet Christmas holiday. What you can do to stay safe is clear leaves and debris from rain gutters and storm drains near your home. Secure outdoor decorations and trash bin lids against potential wind gusts. Check flight statuses frequently if traveling through local airports like LAX or San Diego International. Slow down and leave extra space between vehicles when driving on wet freeways.
Sign up for local emergency alerts to stay informed about flash flood warnings or evacuation orders. Okay, give me a minute, you guys. I want to do something real quick. Okay. I should have changed that. Some check in chat real quick. The Fuzzy Falcon says, whoop, op, whoop. Oops, whoop, whoop. George Mitchell says, tonight I'm going live for the Parade of Lights about 5 p.m. I've got to be outside and get to 40th Street. Auntie A says, sounds good, George. We're supposed to be having a parade of lights here tonight, too. I'm not sure whether I'm going to go out and drive. It's through the neighborhood. I might. I got to get my lights turned on, and I've been watching them getting the road set up. They put up these nice little candle lights all the way down the roads, and then people decorate their houses. Okay, so let me see what else I've got for you regarding the storms that are going on through California. It is time to be prepared, you guys. New Jersey. New Jersey had 63 mile per hour winds clocked during Friday's storms. Trees were blown down, electrical poles were snapped, and Christmas decorations went flying off of lawns. Thanks to Friday's intense storms, which generated wind gusts as strong as 63 miles an hour at High Point Monument in Sussex County, 60 miles per hour in Belleville and Essex County, and 59 miles per hour at Newark Liberty International Airport in Essex and Union counties. Fierce gusts those were among the highest gusts clocked across Garden State, according to the National Weather Service and Rutgers, New Jersey Weather Network. Fierce gusts were also whipped down in South Jersey and along the Jersey Shore, triggering more than 40,000 power outages across the state Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Atlantic County had 52 mile per hour at Atlantic City International Airport, 51 miles per hour in Forsyth, 48 miles per hour in Atlantic City Marina, 47 miles per hour in Brigantine, 45 miles per hour in Pleasantville, and 44 miles per hour in Pleasantville Point. In Bergen County, they had 56 miles per hour at Teterboro Airport, 47 miles per hour in Lyndhurst, and then in Burlington County, they had 52 miles per hour at McGuire Air Force, 48 miles per hour at Coyle Field, 47 miles per hour at the South Jersey Regional Airport, 46 miles per hour in Morristown, 41 miles per hour in Tabernacle, 40 miles per hour in Silas Little, 40 miles per hour in Medford Village. So those are a lot of the different areas. I'm not going to read all of them because there's a whole list of them. I will post this in chat, and y'all can check the areas if you live in those areas to see what the wind gust was in your area. So that is the link to the article. All right, so what else we got? More worried about what's going on in California and Oregon, you guys. There's also going to be disruptions in Nevada as well. Christmas travelers across western Nevada and Sierra should prepare for stormy weather patterns this weekend, December 20th and 21st into the holiday week. Rain, strong winds, mountain snow, and possible flooding could affect travel from Reno to Lake Tahoe and over Sierra Passes, according to the National Weather Service in Reno. Forecasters say that the first leg of the storm will bring rain and gusty winds from Saturday night through Monday, December 20th and 22nd. 20th through the 22nd. Snow levels are expected to stay high, generally above 8,000 and 9,000 feet, which increases the risk of runoff and localized flooding, including in Tahoe. Travel disruptions are expected to increase during Christmas week, December 22nd through the 26th, as colder weather moves in and snow levels drop. While Reno and other valley areas are likely to see mostly rain through the weekend, travel in the Sierra could become more difficult beginning Tuesday, with heavier and more frequent snow expected at higher elevations. There are watches and warnings for western Nevada Sierra, December 20th through the 26th. A flood watch is in effect from 4 a.m. Sunday, December 21st through 4 p.m. Monday, December 22nd for the Lake Tahoe Basin and parts of eastern Sierra. Steady rain and high snow levels could cause creeks and streams to rise, leading to flooding in low-lying and poor drainage areas. Rockfall is possible in steep terrain. No major river flooding is expected. That's good news. A separate flood watch is also in effect for the west slope of the North Sierra, including areas along Interstate 80 from Saturday afternoon, December 20th through Friday afternoon, December 26th. For drivers, the greatest risk is ponding water, roadway flooding, and rock slides that is expected from Saturday night through Tuesday, December 20th through the 23rd. A winter storm watch is in effect from 10 p.m. Tuesday, December 23rd through 10 a.m. December 26th, which is Friday, for parts of the Sierra, including Interstate 80 and US 50, mainly along the west slope. So, Reno also has a forecast stating that rain is likely in the day, partly sunny earlier, high near 59, low around 43, gust up to 20 miles per hour on Saturday, December 20th. On the 21st, rain is likely with breezy conditions, high near 58, gust around 40, 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain possible, and a low around 40. Let's see what your Christmas day is going to look like. Christmas Day, it's rain and snow possible. Snow level 5,600 feet. High near 48 and a low around 30. Hey, y'all are getting snow. Okay. Let me see here. Auntie A asks, Rebecca, do you have the app for hot spots on Earth? No, I do not. I did, but I no longer have it. Getting ready to be scrambled. Okay, guys, so I hope y'all have enjoyed our update. I wanted to give an update to everybody as to what's going on weather-wise across through California and Oregon. If you did not hear those updates, please go back and recheck the live stream. Wanted to give y'all an update as to what's going on today. I'm going to take a minute and take a break, drink something, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had to go and get myself something to drink. My throat was starting to bug me. That's normal. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, I've been talking for about 95 minutes. Woohoo! Okay, so I want to look up what happened in Montana because Montana has also been having storms as well. So this Pineapple Express actually caused storms across other areas as well. So a lot of people don't realize Montana winter storms wreaked havoc on state roadways. And the Macomb County disaster 5.2. The Macomb County Disaster and Emergency Services announced the closure of Highway 13 from Wolf Point to Circle due to a severe blizzard condition on the 17th. Residents had been advised to avoid travel in those affected areas until the conditions improved. A semi-truck was overturned due to strong winds at mile marker 58 on U.S. Highway 87. Authorities advised that high-profile vehicles avoid traveling in that area due to the hazardous conditions. Strong winds had been affecting the region, making it challenging for large vehicles to maintain stability on the roads. Montana had 60 to 80 mile per hour winds. It downed trees. Downed trees blocked westbound lanes on I-90 at milepost 15. Fallen trees and debris prompted severe driving conditions on US 12 outside of Lolo. Downed power lines blocked all lanes on US 2 at milepost 89.5 east of Kalispell. A fallen tree blocked southbound lanes on US 93 from milepost 46 to 56. And the Missoula County Sheriff's Office announced that east and westbound traffic from the 19-mile marker on Highway 83 was closed due to downed power lines and trees. So they had a lot of really bad wind there as well. The other day I showed y'all a video of tree after tree falling. But so far it doesn't look like they're having any more weather issues. So there's holiday travel. There is wind and fire danger from coast to coast. Travel for the holidays Friday may be turbulent as gusts and widespread rain move into the northeast. Fire warnings persist in the west, and storms linger on the west coast until the end of the year. So we went over that, but we have fire danger out west. Parts of Colorado and Wyoming are experiencing extreme and dangerous fire weather, and as dry and windy conditions persist across the Rockies. In particular, the area around Denver is under a rare, particularly dangerous situation. Red flag warning for winds between 45 and 55 miles per hour and gusts up to 80 to 110 miles per hour, making conditions extremely favorable for rapid fire spread. Parts of Texas Panhandle, west central Nebraska, and other parts of Colorado and Wyoming are also under red flag warnings for the state, as wind gusts may reach up to 50 miles per hour with dry conditions out west. Rain and snow and wind are on the west coast. Rain, wind, and some snow will rock the northwest Friday as lingering systems on the west coast start to shift south, dropping an additional 1 to 4 inches of rain across western Oregon, southwest Washington, and northwest California. A flood watch remains in effect across coastal Oregon and Washington until 4 a.m. Saturday, which was this morning, as rivers and streams will continue to rise to potentially record levels. So that is what's going on. The holiday week will be milder and warmer for the rest of the country. Okay, so there is a winter storm warning right now for 3 feet of snow. This has been issued for multiple states with potentially hazardous conditions ahead for some areas. Heavy winter storms are forecasted to deliver up to 3 feet of snow through Saturday night and early into Sunday. A record-breaking number of people are set to hit the road for the holiday. I think I went over this already. This was at the beginning of my update. If you did not listen to it, please go back and listen to it. I'm trying to find any new news that I have missed. Where is Madison? Okay, Wisconsin got slammed with a storm. The Madison area had one of its snowiest days in history, with a whopping 13.3 inches falling on December 20th, 2012. The storm started the night of December 18th, so we're looking at history here. The storm started the night of December 18th and continued for the next 2 days, first falling as rain, then transitioning to snow. Madison officially picked up 16 inches of snow from the storm. The snow fell on much of the Midwest, rapidly strengthening and at its strongest over the Chicago area. So this is history, you guys. The highest total was in Cottage Grove with 21.9 inches over 2 days. To this day, December 20th, 2012 is Madison's second highest one-day maximum snowfall total. It's also the fourth highest two-day total in the city's history. Interesting. Yesterday, firefighters were called out in Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee, as strong storms moved through the region. Thursday night, Knoxville Fire Department crews responded to 2 separate homes after trees fell on the homes. KFD shared early Friday morning that crews were called to separate incidents around 11:30 p.m., as well as several power lines that were knocked down during the storms. At the first home in Towanda Trail in West Knoxville, KFD crews worked to free a person who was briefly trapped in a home. Crews also responded to another home where a tree fell on it on John May Drive in northwest Knoxville. KFD said both homes were significantly damaged. The occupants of both homes are receiving assistance from the American Red Cross and other family members. The department shared that it also responded to 2 motor vehicle accidents and several fire alarms because of the storm. Across Knoxville Utilities Board service area, the storms also caused power damages impacting many residents. KUB said at one point there were as many as 16,000 outages reported, but crews worked overnight to lower the number of outages to less than 6,300. As of 6:30 a.m., outage maps showed 5,940 outages across the area. There's an outage map and will be updated as damage is assessed. So that is storm that was going on in Knoxville, Tennessee, and this was posted today. Checking chat real quick. Rich says, I think I'm on my round trip from Saturn. I can see Earth. My internet router satellite actually works quite well. Brookfishin said, okay, I thought it was me. What happened, you guys, was I was trying to turn off my camera for a minute, and I actually turned off my screen. So that's why y'all saw a black screen. I apologize. I actually turned off the wrong one. So let's see what other kind of news we have for you guys. There is Ursid meteor shower coming up, you guys. The Ursid meteor shower marks the final celestial event of the year, will peak between Sunday night and early Monday morning. Stargazers can expect to see 5 to 10 meteors per hour between midnight and 5 a.m. Eastern Time Monday, or between 9 p.m. Sunday and 2 a.m. Monday. The meteor shower will peak around the time of the winter solstice, or the official beginning of winter in the northern hemisphere, when it is the farthest from the sun. The winter solstice marks the longest night of the year and coincides with the thin and faint crescent moon, creating perfectly dark skies for optimal meteor viewing. Are you okay, Penny? I heard you yap. The Ursids originate from the bowl of the Little Dipper, also known as the Ursa Minor constellation, near the bright orange star called Kochab. The meteor shower occurs as Earth encounters the stream of particles left behind by comet 8P Tuttle, which sheds material as it orbits the sun. This year's shower activity could be enhanced by previous streams of debris from the comet. Each time comet 8P Tuttle passes through the inner solar system during its orbit, the celestial object leaves behind a new trail of debris. The trails are similar, but they aren't exactly the same, meaning that Earth can pass through one trail and miss others. This year, it is predicted that the Earth will pass through a particular trail, which may give us a brief enhancement of activity. The shower is often neglected because it delivers fewer meteors per hour when compared to spectacular Geminids, which peaked a week ago, and it occurs close to the holidays when nights are often frigid and cloudy. But it's worth bundling up and finding a location away from city lights to observe the shower. It is highly suggested that one try to view from the darkest location possible. Folks viewing from closer to cities can only see less than 5 per hour. What you do to see it is face the northern half of the sky, but avoid the temptation to look straight up, instead focusing about halfway up. That's because the meteor rates per hour are lower for the Ursids than the Geminids. View for at least an hour for a chance to spot meteors streaking across the sky. The new year will begin when double celestial event. January's full moon, called the Wolf Moon, will peak on January 3rd, which also coincides with the first meteor shower of the year, the Quadratids. While that shower is known for producing light, slow-moving fireballs in the night sky, the brightness of the full moon is expected to dim the display of meteors. So, anyways, you guys, I hope y'all are doing well today. Wanted to do an update for y'all, let y'all know what is going on. I appreciate all of y'all being here, for being on the stream, for watching. And I am going to talk to y'all in chat for a few minutes. And, yeah, I'm going to leave the live stream up for a little bit. All right, you guys. I'll see y'all in chat. The Fuzzy Falcon says, shake, 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 shake your snow globe. I am checking my live stream because I am looking at the live stream along with y'all. And George Mitchell says, not if we see you first, LOL. I hope that y'all who live on the West Coast are actually prepared for these storms that are coming. I know that it's been hell over there on the West Coast for a lot of people. With all of the flooding, the pictures that I've seen are absolutely horrible. There's hundreds of people who are displaced right now, especially at this time of year. It is horrible. It's heart-wrenching to think about people who are not in their homes due to flooding. Just keep all of these people in prayer, you guys, and keep them in your thoughts. If you haven't already, please share the video out to people who live in these areas that you think may need to get a warning. I'm going to be doing updates like this when we do updates. I'm going to be doing updates like this for you guys to keep y'all up to date on what's going on with weather and fires and earthquakes. As we can see, our latest earthquake that has occurred now has been a 2.1 in northern Italy. And if you notice, we had a 0.9 in western Turkey. Okay, so you can tell that there are zeros that are put on the map. Also, there has been a 4.3 near the coast of southern Peru. Rich Quake says, lasagna's done. I got to go get some. Awesome. Where's mine? Oh, it sounds good. Actually, you know what I'm going to eat for dinner? I'm going to have chicken parmesan. So I think that's what I'm having for dinner. Oh, you hurt today? I'm sorry. I hope you feel better. How is the weather there, Broke Fishing? I know you're in Oregon, so I hope you are prepared. Auntie A said I actually had haggis tonight. You know what I'm gonna do? Okay, so for those you don't know, it's a savory pudding containing sheep's pluck, heart, liver, and lungs minced with chopped onions, oatmeal, suet seasonings, salt mixed with stock, and cooked with traditionally encased in the animal's stomach. That sounds interesting. Not sure I'd eat it, but it sounds interesting. Fuzzy Falcon says, lasagna. I love lasagna. It's really good. Brooke Fishing says, I have firewood, not raining at this time, but give it a little bit. Yep, be safe out there, Brooke. George Mitchell says, no, Rebecca, you don't want to know about it. The Fuzzy Falcon says, I have a pound of ground chuck, a few onions, and some bread. Maybe I can make burgers. Oh, I like hamburgers too. You know what I like? I have recently found out that I like lamb burger. So I like eating lamb, veal, and it's actually really good as like a hamburger. Okay, 3.1, Southern Alaska. All right, you guys, I'm going to let y'all go for the day. I hope y'all are doing well. Thank you for checking into the channel. Thank you for being here. Please remember to hit that like button once, not twice. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. All right, you guys, I love you. And I hope that y'all have a great Saturday. We may be back tomorrow to do a live stream tomorrow afternoon. Also, I do know that Broke Fishing is doing a live stream. Let me see how long until his live stream. I was looking at it earlier today. So he has a live stream that he is doing for his birthday. And I'm going to put that out there. If you guys want to go to his live stream today, it is going to be, oh, let me see here. It's going to be tomorrow, December 21st at 5 a.m. his time, so live in 12 hours. So for anybody that is up that early, it says 5 a.m. tomorrow. He's doing a live stream and solstice. All right, you guys, I love you. Please take good care of yourselves and each other. Please pay attention to the weather and what's going on in your area so that you stay safe. All right, you guys, much love. George Mitchell, thank you for being here. The Fuzzy Falcon, thank you for being here. Let me see who else I'm missing here. George Mitchell, Broke Fishing, George, Rich Quake, Auntie A, and everybody else who has checked into the channel today. Thank you, and thank you to my mods for modding. Y'all are awesome. All right, you guys, I love you, and I will see y'all tomorrow or Monday. Much love.